Well, after the hole they dug themselves into at the end of last week's episode, Arrow is going to have to try very hard to get itself even up to average this week. The episode opens with Diggle leading the team, capturing the tooth bomb guy in what I have to admit is a pretty pretty fun action scene, complete with Diggle flying across buildings, being propelled by Black Canary. So apparently Tooth Bomber is out of the picture. Boy, you should see the terror on this guy's face. However, Diggle soon points out one problem they have. He's not an archer, although mysteriously his hand tremors have gone away. He claims that they healed themselves, even though last week he claimed it was degenerative. Off. Yeah. So, and then Felicity is busy trying to get her and Curtis's startup company going. So that's a theme, including coming up with a name. At this point, it has to be hard to come up with a name for a tech company that isn't taken and makes sense. Although I maintain, Bit by Bit would be an awesome name for a band that only used 80s synthesizers. Just an idea. But anyway, they have all the villains this week are a bunch of thieves that want to take out their old unit members, and they want to steal some nerve gas. For once, the Green Arrow, on Diggle's watch, for once the Green Arrow shows up before a truck heist happens. And this leads to what may be the single funniest scene in the series. I of course can't show you it without getting copyright claimed, but try to imagine Diggle in full Green Arrow getup sitting in front of a tractor trailer with the stereo going full blast while the driver and a guard sit awkwardly beside him. Yeah. However, Diggle freezes up and can't give the team orders. He claims that he says it's because he's never been that high up on the chain, and the nerve gas gets stolen, and the thieves get away. He claims it's because he's never been that high up on the chain of command, which is a good point. He points out that that despite him being militarily trained, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a unit commander. He claims he says that he was always used to taking orders, not giving them when in the field. However, there seems to be more to it than that. Meanwhile, Agent comes along just to go at Oliver for being the Green Arrow. And an anti-vigilante bill is about to pass. How many times does the Green Arrow have to literally save the city from being level before people will stop trying to pass anti-vigilante bills? It's like, at least they had like a city blow up Marvel for their Civil War, and I hated that comic event. I thought it was stupid that they were overlooking all the good everyone had, all all the heroes had done because of that. But still, at least I could understand that one. This, none of these people would be here to make this complaint. They'd all be dead. And we're told that it's got unanimous support on City Council. Yeah, I can't really buy that. So Oliver is trying to pull out all the stops to stop that, even though he's being advised to publicly support it. But he's not about to leave Diggle hanging out there when he asked him to be the Green Arrow. Speaking of which, he comes by and finally admits that his choice was kind of selfish. Yeah. However, Diggle maintains that no, it wasn't. Yes, it was. It's good of you that you're not making him come back, but yes, it was a selfish choice. Because yeah, as he points out, you've got a wife and a kid. Yeah, it was a pretty selfish choice, right there. Diggle still isn't telling him about freezing. However, it does cause some dissension in the ranks. Meanwhile, William is having trouble with math tests, and it turns out, I would have loved to have gotten a C in math at your age. Isn't really the best or most encouraging advice you can give someone. And this will please the shippers. They finally make it clear just what Oliver and Felicity's relationship is at this point. And they stop playing it, and they seem to be stopping playing games with it. And yeah, I wouldn't really care, except they put it together so well and so sweetly all of a sudden they're writing them as adults and not teenagers, and all of a sudden it's just a very sweet, very natural scene. Darn you, Arrow! If you keep doing like that, I might actually start caring about this relationship. I've given up on all the others in the Arrow universe, but you just gave me one that I'm starting to care about just by making these people behave somewhat naturally. She even is getting along well when she tutors with Oliver's son, and that goes naturally. Everything, and anyway, it's the typical, they have to find their legs under the new leader, and Diggle finds his legs. They stop the bad guys, stop a nerve gas attack, and Oliver is able to use that as leverage, not to change the council's vote, but to invoke a clause in the city charter that allows the mayor to demand that a bill being passed by the city council can be turned into a referendum, be put up for a referendum. It's obviously rarely used, but it does mean that the popular vote will be deciding this. So that, I assume that's going to play out in this season. Lance thinks that it's just going to go the exact same way when put to the popular vote, but I have to wonder. I really don't think so. I really don't think so at all, simply because they just saved a bunch of people from a gas attack. Oh, and how jaded does your city have to be that a bunch of people jumping into the middle of a 5-star hotel lobby is in vigilante justice uniform, doesn't even get a look. Everybody just keeps going about their business. This is how average this has become to these people. And they just follow their orders when they're given orders when it becomes an emergency, but otherwise they're just looking. So basically they're treating the vigilantes like cops right now. So how is the popular vote going to go against since nobody panics when they show up in the middle of the day, the middle of a lobby full of dozens of people. I really don't see that. That to me tells me, they've totally fallen in with this. I mean, it's not even worth capturing on their cell phone. They're like, oh yeah, they're over there. They're just ignoring them. like they're part of the hotel staff or something. That tells me this city is perfectly fine with the vigilantes, so I don't see it being a problem. Still, I have to say, the character moments that are here, so it's a really average story. On the tagger, we find out that Diggle is dosing himself with something presumably illegal. That's where his shaking has gone, and he gets a crossbow weapon that fires like a gun, so that it will be seen that the Green Arrow is shooting arrows still, but he doesn't have to learn archery. But yeah, I'm sure that illegal substance will come into play later, of course. But yeah, overall, it's an average episode, but the above average writing of the characters and the fact that they are doing something. Well, I still don't like this plot arc of Oliver not being the Green Arrow because it's too dangerous for his son. As if Laura Lance from the alternate universe is going to care about that. She's still gonna come after him, no matter. She's still gonna come after him, even if he's not the Green Arrow. So how does that put him in less danger? If anything, it puts him in more danger because he's no longer hunting her. So that makes it more likely his kid will end up an orphan. But anyway, still, I was surprised. They wrote a lot of the character moments really well, especially between Oliver and Felicity, Oliver and his son, Felicity and his son. It just works, and you can see how they're gelling this together, and you can even see some stones being put in place for if this or next season is the final season of Arrow, how they can phase out the vigilantes. They're talking about phasing out the vigilantes and such. So yeah, it works. And that elevates this episode to just above average. So I went from below average last week to give it a 6 out of 10 this week. So yeah, lots of interesting pieces being put into place, and we'll see where this goes.